So now we've got enough features within our game. I think we're ready to start building the world out. So what I'd like to do is go up to selection mode and change it to landscape mode. Alright, we can now see this green graph. I'm just going to drag that underneath so it's underneath actually our land. And by default you're going to have a lot of options over here. It's fairly decent sized already. You know what, we'll probably be happy with that. But if you wanted to, we could go even bigger. Yeah, let's do that. Now, we're not going to import from file, but you could import from a height map here. And we've not got material, we'll set one of those up soon. So for now, let's just go ahead and hit create. So, once you've hit create, you're going to notice that your cursor has now changed to this, right? And if we click and hold, you can see him click and holding, and it's creating this mountain. Now we've got a couple of options, such as we've got smooth that mountain off. We've got flatten the top of that mountain. Give it one of those things. Could make a ramp out of it. Up to the top of the hill. We could erode it. There's lots of different stuff you could sort of mess with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go back to selection mode real quick. And I'm going to bring in a file. So I've made a plan, got a bit of a texture here. And it's going to be loosely my level layout. So I'm actually just going to, in the sake of visualize this, I'm just right clicking it to create material. And I'm actually going to turn it to a decal. So by clicking on surface, I'm going to change it to a deferred decal. And it's got to be translucent for decal to work. I'm going to wire that RGB into emissive, just so we'll always see it. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now the reason I'm doing this is, and you'll see in a minute, is it with a decal, it allows you to project right down on the floor. And that's cool. Let me just rotate it, and I'm going to scale it so it's massive. I'm going to go even bigger than that. Maybe 150? Yeah, 150 should be sufficient there then. Could even go actually 160. So, in fact, what's this look like if I press play? Whoa! Freaking. So, the reason I've done that is because now I can actually, if I go back to my scaling tool, I go back to my select landscape tool, sorry, I can now actually just start sculpting in loosely to the parts that I want. So I'm just going to pump that strength up, increase my brush size, and it's hard to tell from this angle, but there I'm sort of creating my mountains, my mountain range. Now you can cut inwards as well. So let's say we want the sea to sort of go inwards. If I hold shift while painting, you can see it goes inwards. So shift will go in, so we can paint that whole area in. We can mountain this whole section up. We've got like the starting island over here, so I'm just going to make that quite big. There we go. Let's flatten it off. And you see we've got like tool strength, and that strength's got like a fall off as well. So that fall off creates sort of like how soft the edges are. And you know, let's put a ramp in there for the sake of test. Add ramp. Where's it? That ramp is too steep, but you know what, I'm not going to spend ages at this point while I'm sort of demonstrating and creating a map. I just wanted to show you how we could tweak that. If it's a bit too bright for you, we can drop that opacity, go back into your material, set it to like, I don't know, 0.25, and then if we hit apply, it's a bit more see-through, which makes it a bit easier to sort of see. Again, at this point I'm not going to go through the whole process of sculpting, because this is going to take ages to sculpt this map out, but I just wanted to show you that. So now we've got that, let me just quickly grab my floating island decal. And you know, I'm just going to move it underneath. So, look at that, almost accidentally created it earlier. My laptop is about to take off. Let me just flatten you off. Get out of here. Done. Okay, so that is loosely, you know, you're ready to start sculpting your land. I'm just going to quickly, oops, delete, get rid of these walls, get rid of that text. We've got a couple of things in here. It's all in these blocks. You see there's a section there called blocks. Just gonna delete those. Get rid of cylinder as well. Alright, now I can almost start creating my scene. But, oh, my mouse scrolls way too high. But before we do that as well, let's actually set up the materials that we're going to need for painting. So inside, I'm going to create a new folder. Inside my content folder, I'm going to create a new folder. Call it landscape. That's. And inside there, I'm going to create a new material, which I'm going to call landscape. Ah, can't type. Underscore M. Did I put dash? And I spelled scape wrong. You know what? Whatever, man. Alright, so to be able to sort of paint our landscape the colours we want, I mean, we will be using textures, but for quick sort of test, I'm going to set up a green. So I'm just holding 3, and then I'm left clicking. I'm going to set that to green. That'll be our grass. And you know what? Let's have a mountain range. So let's make those mountains quite grey. And let's have a beach. So I'm just holding 3 to select those, but we will replace those with images later on. And what we're going to need is a landscape material node. So a landscape layer blend. If you create yourself one of these, on the left hand side where we've got elements, we're just going to press the plus. In fact, I'm going to press it 3 times, so I've got 3 materials. And let's give it some names, such as grass. We're going to need mud and other things as well, but you can always add more to this later on. Rock. Beach. So now we've got these 3. Let's wire them in as appropriate. And we're going to put them into base color. We should also get a landscape layer codes and wire that in. Well, we can't actually wire that in right now because these aren't textures, but we'll come back to that. Put a pin in that note. Put a pin in that. I'm just going to hit save and move that out of the way. And with my landscape selected, with all of my landscapes selected, I'm going to drag in my material into landscape material. And the whole floor is going to go black. And you're going to be like, what? Why's my floor gone black? And I'll show you why your floor's gone black. So I'm going to go back to landscape mode. And I'm going to click on paint at the top. Alright, and if I scroll down, you can see we've got these 3 here. I will need to press the plus. And I'm going to wire all these, save these into my new folder I just created. So let me just go ahead and do that. And now I've got these 3. It's going to be as simple as clicking the color that you want to paint and left clicking and dragging. You can now see how it allows you to sort of paint those colors in. Cool, starting to come along. Now, obviously we just used flat colors, but what would be better would be to actually go to a website like how you like Polyhaven. It's got some good materials there. You don't need to sign in or anything, which is good. So I'm going to go there and let's get some terrain. And what should we go for? Ooh, that rocky trail is quite nice. Let's get rocky trail. So within there, choose the K that you want. I'm just going to do 2K. I'm going to set it to a zip, and I'm going to download it. So, I should have gone 1K, 44 meg, and I've got some slow internet. We'll get in there. I'll just use the power of editing. And power of editing, that's downloaded. I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm just going to right click that folder. I'm going to say extract all. Now we can be cheeky. You can see this textures folder. If I go back to my Unreal, as long as I've got the right directory in place, I can actually just drag and drop that entire thing in. We might not necessarily need all that. We can delete stuff out. Let me just rename that as well to Rocky Textures. Okay, so you can see in here we've got an AO, occlusion, we've got an armature, we've got a trail, sorry, not trail, sorry, diffuse, displacement, normal map, roughness. So, this is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. So, you can see over here we've got our base color. So, by default, I'm not probably going to use all these for the sake of, I don't want to be here all day on this video, but let me just start going ahead and creating these. So first one, diffuse. Let's get our diffuse, and let's get you and wire that in. So we don't need rock anymore. That's gone. Right? That is our rocky coloured floor setup. But you might want other things in there. Now, for example, you might be thinking, oh, how do I use my roughness? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to duplicate this, Control D, and I'm going to drag my normal map in and wire that into rock. Now technically right now I don't have them for grass or beach, so I'm actually just going to use that just to be cheeky. And let's wire that into normal. And it's the same process again. If you wanted to use like your roughness or your ambient occlusion or your ambient occlusion, roughness or metallic, whatever you want to use, they get wired in the same way. But let's see how that looks. So I'm just going to hit save, and now we can look at the floor, and it's actually got a little bit of detail in there. So depending on how you feel, that might look, you might sort of be seeing the seams and you might feel like that's too much. So we can actually take this here, and on the left hand side you can see scale, and let's see what happens. For example, if I set the scale to 2 and then press apply. Now watching over here, you can see it looks a lot bigger. So it's going to be up to you to find what sort of scale you want to set these at, and that's pretty much the process. So right now I'm just going to go through and I'm going to download a bunch more of these, wire them in, and then start painting my scene together. I'll add a quick clip of that at the end, but that's it for this video. This step's probably going to take you a long time to get all this set up right, but there we go, we can start throwing our scene together. Thanks for watching.